again, everyone, and welcome to the NCAA tournament tonight, 1990 version. I'm John Saunders. 8 teams have advanced to the second round. 8 more to come here tonight, including 3 we'll see here on ESPN. We will start this thing off in Knoxville, Tennessee, in the Southeast region. Rollie Massimino's never lost a first-round game. Villanova meets Chris Jackson and the LSU Tigers. Next, we move to Austin, Texas, in the Midwest region. The Princeton Tigers came close a year ago against Georgetown. Tonight, they'll face the number 4 seed Arkansas. This game joined in progress. And finally, Hartford, Connecticut, in the East region. Bobby Knight lost the first-round game here 2 years ago. Tonight, he'll meet Lou Campanelli's Golden Bears. All these games subject to blackout in your area. As I said, 8 teams are in and 8 more teams to advance to the second round here. Let's go back and recap exactly what has happened here in the first day. And it was quite a day. It almost started off with an upset from the very beginning. The first game we showed you here on ESPN at noon Eastern time, it was Clemson and BYU. BYU in control. Kirkland Howling with a three-pointer a little bit later with 33 seconds left on the clock. And in the back door, Marty Haas doesn't get it. Meanwhile, in Knoxville, the Southeast, Eric MacArthur's show. First on the alley-oop, then with his defense. Here blocking Craig Upchurch. MacArthur 20 points, 11 rebounds. Kirk Lee was tough for the Towson State Tigers against Oklahoma. The Sooners prevailed with freshman Terry Evans hitting a big three-pointer. Sooners win at 77-68. In Salt Lake City, the West region, Ball State and Oregon State. Gary Payton fouled out. With 2 seconds left, Harris McCurdy wins the game with a three-point play. Ball State advances 54-53 over Oregon State. All-American Lionel Simmons in Hartford in the East against Southern Mississippi. 32 points and 6 rebounds. That was the story. Murray State and Michigan State. Greg Gable hits a three-pointer at the buzzer to send it to overtime. The Spartans prevail, though. Kirk Mans with the runner. Michigan State 75-71 in OT. Southwest Missouri State and North Carolina. Dean Smith watching his Tar Heels as they work the ball. To Scott Williams on the lob for the slam. 83-70 they win. In Salt Lake City in the West, Idaho and Louisville. After the Tony Kimbrough miss, Everett Sullivan follows with the slam, and that's the way Louisville has done it all year long. And they advance. As they win, they will face Ball State. Stay with us. We will get out to Villanova and LSU in what could be the game of the day. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back on ESPN.
ESPN's NCAA tournament tonight. LSU versus Villanova. Brought to you by your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Minolta and the Maxim 3000i. Maxim does what no snapshot camera can. By Levi's 505 and 506 jeans. And by Gillette and the revolutionary sensor shaving system. Gillette, the best a man can get.
LSU and Villanova just moments away, and Dick Vitale in this one yesterday. We know you were talking about Rollie Massimino. He has never lost the first-round game, but you may be hedging a bit.
I'll tell you this, Rollie's a master at tournament time. He relies a lot on motivation, control, and tempo. And as we've seen today, defense usually prevails, and they do a great job defensively in their system. However, I really feel with the NBA, look that he's going to go to the NBA, Chris Jackson, I think you're going to see him respond in a positive way. I think the big fellas inside are also going to be dominant, and I look for a good basketball game, but I think LSU is going to move on. I think the motivation of possibly playing in the Superdome is going to give him that extra lift.
Very quickly now, 2 conferences with 6 fouls.
Well, you look at the foul situation, I think that's going to benefit Villanova because Shaquille O'Neal has a history of getting in foul trouble.
Okay, LSU and Villanova still to come right here. We'll tip it off in just a moment. Let's get out to Knoxville.
And we welcome everyone watching across the nation over ESPN tonight with the Villanova Wildcats against the LSU Tigers from Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Working tonight's game, the officials as assigned by the NCAA, Ronald Labatich, Ted Hillary, and John Leimbach. And some things to think about as we get started for the game tonight. This is the 20th NCAA appearance for Villanova. 7-0 in first-round games for Rollie Massimino. And for LSU, this is the 7th straight NCAA bid. But in the last 2 years, the first round hasn't been kind to Dale Brown.
Well, that even goes back further with Villanova in that when they used to seed teams, they're actually 9-0 in first games that they have played. So, you know, they played very well, and their players will have great confidence tonight.
Again, the starters for tonight's game for LSU and Villanova. LSU went 22-8 this year. Villanova went 18-14, splitting the Big East game.
Look early, I think, for Villanova to look for some gimmick defenses. I know Massimino is really concerned about Chris Jackson, him getting out of the blocks. I wouldn't be surprised if they would try some boxing one, things of that nature to disrupt his rhythm.
Well, Jackson got his hands on the ball, and this is Mo Williamson.
They're denying the ball. They're in straight man. Miller is really overplaying, trying to keep him from getting the ball back.
O'Neal. And as Roberts went up for the rebound, he got fouled. The foul is on Mark Dowdell, or is it on Miller? Let's check.
Well, here we see it inside. They're really trying to deny up in the upper right-hand corner. They're trying to deny Jackson the ball. O'Neal takes a shot. Roberts fouls the foul. Miller over the back.
That's the first on Lance Miller, the first foul in the game. Ooh, no, this foul is called on Greg Woodard. Two fast fouls on the Villanova Wildcats.
We're not wasting any time getting control of the basketball game. It'll be interesting because Jackson's not only going to have to work to get the ball, but I'm sure they're thinking in terms of, as he does work, tiring him enough that he will not be as effective offensively. Lance Miller will be a difficult defensive assignment for Chris Jackson.
Harold Boudreau is in for Burnell Singleton. Singleton will come back in at the next break. He just had a quick word with Coach Brown. Roberts on the outside. Williamson, that's a three.
Guy can shoot the basketball. They became a much better team when they inserted him in the starting lineup.
Back the other way, Walker now to Miller.
See the man.
Rice with the basketball from the high post. And back out to Walker. And this is what we've expected to see and what we've seen all year long from Villanova.
Well, very good patience offensively. Real tangle inside between O'Neal and Price. But Villanova is going to explore every possibility, try to spread the floor. Here we see it.
Rowley wanted a foul here but didn't get the call. Well, the whistle was for the ball out of bounds back to LSU.
It would have been a tough call either way. A lot of contact. They're going to let him play in the low post.
Singleton is back in the game. Roberts finds Singleton at the free throw. And here's Jackson. Can you believe it? The last game Jackson played in this building against Tennessee was on the 10th of February, and he had 49 points. You saw that game.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And Allen Houston for Tennessee got like 42 as a shootout. It was just absolutely unreal. And that's the kind of play he can make. It's very difficult to keep him from scoring.
This is a shot for three. Woodard can't get it. He does go after the ball, but he loses out to Stanley Roberts.
Big guys can really play inside. Very athletic, particularly O'Neal.
Williamson to Roberts, who wasn't looking for the ball, and we have a foul.
Well, I think we also have Roberts hurt. Surprised him with the pass. Williamson got underneath, didn't have anything to do with the ball. Here we see the last time down. Jackson, here's the leaner underneath Price, beyond Miller, off the glass.
Stanley Roberts got up slowly a moment ago. No, he wasn't looking for the ball in the lane, was
I think he's got a contact problem. Williamson went underneath, had nothing to do with the ball. Hit Roberts in the face with the basketball. I think he popped the contact. As we talked before, the guy fills it up when he plays here, and he not only does it from the standpoint of scoring, but he also finds a way to come up with 8 assists. So, I mean, you know, he can play the game, and as we alluded to at the top of the show, there's been a report out of Baton Rouge and a lot of talk around here that he's thinking about coming out, so every game could be his last game.
Two-time SEC All-Conference and two-time Player of the Year, Chris Jackson. And tonight he has 2 points. 5-0 LSU. Miller on the shot. Lance Miller makes it 5-2 LSU.
Simple screen down, comes off, squares up. Good-looking touch on the basketball.
Oh, yes. O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, averaging 13-8 a game, accepts the pass and makes it a 7-2 LSU lead.
How do you lose track of a guy 7 foot 270? I don't know, but they did it there, and they paid the price.
Miller steps up. Now Woodard from the three-point line. Walker misses on the three. And there's Roberts for LSU. Well, Dale Brown said his team was going to come out and be a hungrier team tonight, a harder working team. Williamson Williamson has 2 3-point baskets and 6 of LSU's 10 points.
Got an early timeout.
The Wildcats are out to a 10-2 lead, and we have a timeout on the court with 17:04 left in the first half.
Gillette announces a razor that can sense the individual needs of your face. Introducing the extraordinary Gillette Sensor Shaving System.
LSU has shot ahead to a 10-2 lead over Nova.
Well, here we see that last lob down. You know, once again, you got two big guys. Grice rotates over toward Roberts. O'Neal is actually alone. Dowdell just forgets about him, and there's the lob. LSU's been able to get their transition game out, and it's a little bit different than what we know in that they come down and they look for the three-pointer as opposed to taking the ball the whole way to the basket.
While LSU is hot from the field, Mo Williamson has 2 3-point shots. He's had only 3 3-point baskets in the last 5 games.
There's a lot of leaning and shoving inside with Grice and O'Neal.
There's Grice and a foul. The LSU foul on Maurice Williamson. That's his first.
LSU's much better defensively tonight out on the floor than they have been in the last few games. Roberts is coming out, applying some pressure. They're just letting Grice and O'Neal go in there one-on-one. They're not giving O'Neal a lot of help. They think he can handle him.
Walker for 3. Dowdell fights for the rebound, but it's O'Neal who throws him out. And into the backcourt it goes, out of bounds. Belongs to Villanova. Villanova made the Final 8 of the NIT last year, back in the NCAA. Grice and Rodney Taylor, 2 seniors with NCAA experience on this team. That's Grice at the point. Roberts defensively, coming up big for LSU. Travel call against LSU, and the ball goes right back to Villanova. This really is an aggressive LSU attacker.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to bring it down, and once again, they're trying to get the perimeter guys out. Jackson and Maurice Williamson are deadly, taking the ball in the open court, not necessarily to the basket, but just putting pressure on your defense by shooting the ball so well from 3-point.
This is a 2-point shot that won't go for Woodard.
Here we go. It's going to be a lob.
And the lob goes over Singleton. Out of bounds, back to Villanova.
Not a very good judgment by Williamson. He got it in too deep to the basket, and then that had no place to lob it, but to lob it out of bounds.
Aaron Bain is in now, number 44 for Villanova. There's Dale Brown in his 18th year with LSU. A 339 and 201 record. He's 13 and 10 in NCAA games.
They're coming off screens. Villanova's coming off screens for open jump shots. They just haven't been able to knock them down, but they still have to identify their inside game and see if they can't get the ball into Grice.
Miller stops the dribble. Woodard. This is Dowdell, and he can't get it. Grice tries to tip. That rebound belongs to Stanley Roberts, who averages 9.7 rebounds a game.
Well, the thing that Villanova is going to, discover is that they're going to be better off shooting the ball on the perimeter simply because of the intimidation factor. I mean, O'Neal is so active inside, a guy that's, he's averaging 4 or 5 blocks a game and just has been phenomenal in rejecting passes in there. So they're going to have to look somewhere else to get scores.
Jackson saves it at the end line. There's O'Neal. O'Neal against Grice. And that ball belongs to Villanova. Nice save at the end line by Greg Woodard.
Good job by Grice. O'Neal's not a polished offensive player. He struggles in there. He's more a defensive and a rebounding type player.
Just 18 years old, O'Neal. This is Grice. Too hard off the glass, but he got it back. And that's a travel call against Grice and Villanova.
Here we go. Makes a good move to the basket. O'Neal goes up, long on the shot, gets it back, and then really the intimidation factor is such that he just travels with the basketball. Here we see a zone. First change of the evening, 1-2-2. A little bit of trap to get Jackson to get the ball up.
Lance Miller was out front. That belongs to Rodney Taylor, a senior from Columbia, South Carolina.
Well, his availability really gives them a boost. He's missed some games because of an injury. Him coming back in there, he's a big, physical, strong type that can play in there with him.
A foul call against Jackson of LSU. That's his first. Three team fouls on LSU.
We're going to see more and more of this, whereas Jackson brings the ball up the floor, they're going to run people at him to force him to give the basketball up. Of course, Walker comes back in the game, guy that gives Villanova great direction.
Walker's in, Woodard goes out. Miller with the pass. This is Bain. Taylor and Roberts got tangled up, and LSU gets the basketball.
And we've gotten them stuck on 10-2 here, and there really hasn't been a lot offensively happening. There's been some decent shots, but they just can't seem to get it in the hole. Here we see the zone again.
Lance Miller has scored the only basket for the Wildcats. 6 points for Williamson, 2 for Jackson, 2 for Shaquille O'Neal. Roberts back out to Williamson.
What we got now is we got a triangle in one. We've got Jackson getting manned up.
And Singleton was open.
Oh, what a rebound.
O'Neal gets fouled inside. Did O'Neal ever attack the basket?
Oh, man, I mean to tell you, he just went in there and took it away from people. Oh, as you can see here, he takes it, dishes it off. Good strong move by Singleton to the basket. Villanova looking for the charge. Grice flat-footed. O'Neal just comes in and outstrengths him for the basketball. Now he's on the free throw line.
That's the first foul on Tom Grice. The team fouls are even now at 3. First team All-SEC performer, Shaquille O'Neal, just turned 18, has 3 points tonight.
Boy, it's so important for big guys to be able to shoot free throws. Put so much pressure on the other team in the low post. If they can just knock down free throws, they're looking at double figures every night out.
Calvin Bird is in. Lance Miller goes out. O'Neal with the miss. And now it's Villanova's ball. Calvin Bird got his hands on the ball after that missed free throw by O'Neal.
Rowley's substituting early. He knows it's going to be a long night, trying to get some fresh bodies in and out of the lineup.
LSU suited 10 players for this game. This is Taylor. And Taylor was fouled by Roberts. First foul on Stanley Roberts, and the 14th foul on LSU.
Well, he just doesn't move his feet. He gets on the side here. Williamson doesn't step in and get the ball stopped. There he is, bodying him up. Good head fake, good ball fake by Taylor. Foul by Roberts, good call.
Since the 1750 mark, it has been all quiet for Villanova. And that's broken finally by Tom Grice. That's his first basket in 4 NCAA games for Grice. He's averaging 12 points and 8 rebounds.
Villanova trying to create some confusion with changing defenses.
Villanova's now 2 of 10 shooting. This is Singleton.
Great move. Right up over the big guy. No foul there. Good no call.
That's the first basket for Singleton.
Well, one way you attack the zone is to penetrate. And Singleton 2 times now has penetrated, either dished off or gotten the ball on the glass. Put a lot of pressure on the Villanova defense.
Walker working the ball on the outside. Aaron Bain tried to get the rebound and lost it to LSU.
Bain's a guy that has struggled. He started the first 7 games of the season, was averaging in double figures, and all of a sudden when the league got started, things have dropped off. But he's still a very effective player and a very important player for him.
Bain and Taylor leave. Woodard and Miller, Lance Miller, come back in now for Villanova. And Harold Boudreaux checks back in for LSU. Roberts will get a rest. Boudreaux, a sophomore. It's a very young LSU team. Dale Brown said he approached the season in the wrong fashion. He said he was carrying around an Easter basket instead of a lunch bucket. They should have been working harder.
Well, one thing that they're doing that's very interesting right now is they're actually playing man-to-man. They're disguising it as a zone, and LSU has elected to attack it as a zone. But all it is just a disguise. They are really in man-to-man. LSU needs to run their man offense.
LSU with a 13-4 lead and 12:25 and counting in the first half. O'Neal moves it away out of bounds. Villanova's basketball at the baseline.
Well, they didn't get the lob quite high enough, plus Grice didn't do a real good job of holding O'Neal off. But that's easier said than done because O'Neal's an exceptional athlete. Grice has got him right here. He releases. Right here he releases too soon and allows O'Neal to get to the basketball. He's got to hold him off longer.
Nice save by Bird. Grice has 4 points. Now Grice has played against big men at Georgetown, Clemson. But how different is it in playing tonight against Roberts and O'Neal?
Much different. You're talking about at Georgetown guys who are big and strong, but they're really finesse players and shot blockers, as opposed to 2 guys who are in the 280 range that lean on you all night long, and eventually it just wears on you.
That's travel call as Williamson tried to penetrate for LSU. So with the ball going out of bounds, it will belong to Villanova. When we come back, we have a timeout on the court. Our score, LSU 13, Villanova 6.
2 of their first 14 shots. UConn up 13-5. Let's get back to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Welcome to our ESPN viewers tonight. A 13-6 lead for LSU with 11:52 left in the half. Roberts has 4 rebounds for LSU. LSU has out-rebounded Villanova. And the field goal percentage, 50% so far for LSU.
Well, they've gotten Grice on track. They've started to get the ball inside. He scored a couple baskets. That's going to free up their perimeter game.
Woodard couldn't get the roll and couldn't get the rebound.
Well, you don't get the rebound from that guy, not when he gets in his hands.
O'Neal with the rebound. Now this is Williamson, and that's a 3. He has 3 3-point baskets.
On the other end, LSU has not really figured out a way to get Jackson open in their half-court offense, but they've been very effective in transition, setting up and shooting the three-pointer.
9 of the 16 points belong to Mo Williamson. And Williamson is 3 for 3 from three-point range. Chris Walker. Great spin move inside. But an air ball. Taylor bounces it back to Walker. Right through his legs it goes. Williamson over to Jackson.
He can create.
O'Neal walked. O'Neal knew he had something going there, Bob.
Well, Jackson, you have to always be ready to get the ball. He's one of the best there is in the open floor situation. He shoots it so quick that he draws the defense to him. He passes it with the no-look pass. Really a lot of pressure on you.
Randy Duvall, 34, in for LSU. Tom Grice comes in.
Duvall's a guy.
Dell leaves for Villanova.
Excuse me, John. Duvall's a guy that can really fill it up once he gets it going. I think he's their best defensive player. On the other hand, Grice coming back in, as well as Taylor, 2 big, strong inside guys to combat the LSU strength inside.
Lance Miller into the front court for Villanova. Woodard from the three-point line, down from the lane. That's a shot for 3. Just one go down for Walker. Back the other way, Randy Duvall. Duvall can also force the offense, can he?
Well, he's a guy that gives him a third ball handler on the perimeter. He can shoot it. He can guard people. He just gives him, I think, a lot of versatility.
Singleton in heavy traffic. Gets a putback opportunity. And there's O'Neal.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, you can't believe it unless you see it, because it just, guys that are that big, that are that active, that agile, can come up with the ball, get it in the hole. You can't believe it can happen. They're so athletic.
The freshman O'Neal has 5 points. 18-6 LSU. Miller on the drive and a foul.
Well, here we see it. LSU, this is the strength we talked about at the top of the show. Villanova has to rebound the ball defensively. That's 1, 2, 3, and the finisher. 3 cracks at it, Villanova. You cannot do that against these guys inside.
As Jackson back in for LSU. The foul was on O'Neal, his first. 5 team fouls now on LSU, 3 on Villanova. And from what we witnessed in the first 2 games in the Southeast region, the officials are letting them play, aren't they?
Well, they started out, I think, trying to get control early and called maybe a couple of picky fouls, but now they're letting them play, and that's generally the history of the NCAA tournament, and that's the way it should be.
Miller, a 74% free throw shooter. Another shot coming, has 3 points. Boudreaux back in for LSU. Burnell Singleton goes over to the bench with Dale Brown.
LSU plays 8 guys, but it's really difficult for them to play with Jackson out of the lineup.
Miller goes 1 for 2 on that trip to the line. 3 points for him tonight. Williamson is picked up by Walker. Villanova goes back to a man-to-man. This is Williamson. He's perfect tonight from three-point range. 4 for 4.
Well, they're going to have to make an adjustment. They're running at Jackson when they bring the ball up to the floor, trying to give him to give the ball up, and Williamson's just shooting the ball lights out. They're going to have to come off somebody else to get him to pick up the dribble.
Williamson came in averaging 11.9 a game. He has 12 in the first half, and we have 9:19 left. Woodard's looking for Grice, but he's been covered nicely throughout the first half by O'Neal. There's Grice, and his shot's blocked. Roberts came over. O'Neal was right behind him.
Well, what's unbelievable is he finally gets O'Neal off of him, catches the ball because O'Neal has to help out on Dowdell. and what do you look around? You turn around, you got another 7'1" guy shoving it out of bounds. So, I mean, it's a never-ending story, and Grice has got to have some frustration, although he has played well early for him.
Bain is in for Woodard for Villanova. Wildcats are down 21-7 with 9:08 to go here in the first half in Knoxville. This is Walker. Too strong with his free opportunity. Grice with the rebound. And he's fouled by O'Neal.
Well, when you shoot it from three, you're generally going to get long rebounds. And when you get long rebounds, that takes away some of the effectiveness of those guys playing underneath the glass. You see it here. It rebounds high, rebounds long. Grice comes up with the loose ball. There's the foul right here. A lot of ball. Big second call.
Now Tom Grice is at the line. He has 4 points and 3 rebounds so far. 5 points for Grice, a 74% free throw shooter.
Well, here we go again. O'Neal goes up. I think there's some anticipation because that's all ball unless he got him with the body.
5 points for Grice. 21-8 LSU with the lead and the ball.
With the lead, Dale might take a look at getting O'Neal out of the game. So he doesn't
O'Neal with a no-look pass over to Singleton.
Doesn't want him to pick up his third.
Villanova in a man-to-man. Here's O'Neal. Taylor with the rebound inside Roberts. Now Bain in the front court. They just couldn't get it to Grice. O'Neal picks it off, and now here comes Williamson.
Oh, good job of avoiding the charge, but misses the shot.
Lance Miller clears it out. Here's Bain in the front court. Taylor from the free throw line, blocked by Roberts. Roberts got a hand on that, but right back to Taylor. And a travel call gives the ball to the LSU Tigers.
Tell you what, I think the crowd may have called that one. It looked like he had a pretty good hop, step, jump, but he came down on both feet and has the opportunity to go back up. In any case, the ball was pinned on the glass. And we have O'Neal out of the game.
Full court pressure now on LSU. Williamson from the double team. No call with Walker hitting the deck. Villanova's 3 of 18 from the field. That's Jackson.
Boy, he knows where they are, doesn't he? There was a situation where he was going to get it blocked from behind, sensed it, pump fake, got the open jumper.
Jackson, the All-American, has 4 points. 23-8 LSU.
They're still overmatched inside. Villanova's still overmatched inside because Boudreaux is so big and strong.
And Bain can't hit. Dowdell tries to save it. He's out of bounds. So with that play, we have a timeout here in Knoxville, Tennessee. 7:31 left in the first half. Our score, LSU 23, Villanova 8. This is an NCAA production.
Until halftime in Hartford, Connecticut, and the UConn Huskies lead is being shrunk. It's now just 17-11, Boston U with about 9 minutes left. Let's go back to Knoxville, Tennessee now.
Well, Williamson has just played lights out. He's supplemented and complemented Chris Jackson so well with the three-point shot. If you want to look like you're playing poorly, shoot 16% from the field, and that's what Villanova's doing. They're getting good shots. They're just not getting them down.
Great save by Jackson over on the sideline. And now Duvall is on the outside. The backcourt scoring, LSU has 16 points, Villanova only 3. The score is 23-8, LSU. This is Roberts inside over Grice. Stanley Roberts gets his first basket.
He's a very good offensive player, much more polished player than O'Neal. They just have not been able to get him the ball.
Now, Chris Walker for Villanova has got 40% this season. So far tonight, he's 0 for 5 from the field. Villanova tries to force the ball inside. They do get a foul out of the LSU Tigers.
There we see him sliding around. He's on the high side, never quite gets there. Comes over the shoulder. Easy call for the official. I'm sure Rowley's racking his brain on what to do. There's not a lot you can do. He may want to look at a change of pace, maybe show a little bit of press, something to get his team in a little bit better frame of mind. Up tempo, try to generate some confidence, some easy baskets, but right now they're really struggling, and as they continue to struggle and shoot, they're falling further and further behind, and this is not a good team to get too far behind because of their dominance inside.
Well, with 6:41 left in the half, Villanova's in the 1-1. And Miller will get a bonus. He's 2 for 3 from the line now with 4 points.
Well, he would have got to shoot that again because Boudreau had a lane violation.
Another shot now for Miller. Named to the Big East All-Rookie First Team. Five now for Lance Miller. 25-10 LSU.
1-2-1-1, a little bit different look in the press. The LSU players are going away. They need to come back to the ball. They almost left Jackson stranded.
Near steal for Bird, but Jackson saves it for LSU. This is Singleton at the baseline.
Yep, Boudreau.
Boudreau with a foul. That's his first. Now 1-1 for Lance Miller.
Here we got a good jump shot on the baseline by Singleton. Villanova does a nice job of checking out. Boudreau comes over. Got Miller going to the line. Boy, Miller is a good-looking player. He's so active. He gives him so many things. He has not shot the ball particularly well this year. But, you know, when you watch him shoot, you think that he would be shooting better percentage-wise. But he's invaluable to him in some other things that he does. And one of those things we just saw, that's rebounding the basketball.
Williamson is back in now for LSU. Here's Miller, who connected on 2 free throws a moment ago. He has 5 points. It's out of bounds to LSU. A lot of campaigning by Mark Dowdell to keep the ball in that end for Villanova, but it didn't work out.
1-2-1-1 again. There, they've got a guy to reverse the ball to. That's the key item. Have somebody to pass the ball back to the other side. Great play by Chris Walker.
And Miller gets the layup. Lance Miller has 7.
Need to get somebody to fill the middle at the 10-second line. They've got guys down in the corners. They can't throw the ball that long without it being intercepted.
This is Boudreau. Lance Miller has it for Villanova and gives it up to Chris Walker.
Smell a little bit of a run, something that has been historically common with LSU giving up a lead.
This is Dowdell. And he's in trouble with Roberts there. Woodard back into Dowdell, and for Roberts, that's 2 personal fouls.
Well, what happens, Roberts gets a little bit tired and then as a result becomes a little lazy. Instead of moving his feet, he reaches over. He doesn't have to. He can play in behind. 7 foot. The guy's 6'8". The guy's not going to catch the ball. Dowdell's not going to catch it and shoot it over him. All he has to do is play position defense. But he reaches and grabs, and now he gets in foul trouble.
Falling behind so far so early, this Villanova team really hasn't had an opportunity to have a lot of fun in the game. And there's Dowdell's miss with Bird feeding Dowdell. Saved by Dowdell and out of bounds to Villanova. But just watching this team work out yesterday, Bob, this team comes out, a lot of smiles on their faces. They're here to have a good time and enjoy the NCAA experience.
Well, you know, they had a great time yesterday, but boy, how quickly that's changed. They're not having very much fun right now, and that's the bottom line. You got to have fun winning the games to advance in the tournament. They've got to get it on track. They're down, and they need to make a move here before halftime.
25-12, LSU. Great athletic move just to keep the ball in play.
Boy, I'll say.
Now Chris Walker, the sophomore from Houston, Texas.
They've got to look right now for Woodard. Woodard's got Maurice Williamson guarding him, and he can't do that.
A foul away from the ball. And for Roberts, 3 personal fouls.
Well, here we see him fighting down underneath here. Some pushing and some shoving. Yeah, elbow to the head. Little frustration there.
A 1-1 now for Tom Price, the senior from Huntington, New York. Wayne Sims. Sims comes in and Roberts goes out.
Can you believe that? Guy's 6'7", 6'8". He's got to be 240. It's just one big body after another.
Career numbers in NCAA competition for Grice, but he misses on the front end of the 1-and-1. He's 1 for 3 now from the free throw line.
Well, Sims has been a starter most of the year, so, I mean, this is not an unfamiliar role for him. We're not talking about an inexperienced player.
Villanova is 4 for 9 from the free throw line in the first half, trailing 25-12. Sims just in for Jackson. He's short with that three-point attempt. Lance Miller.
Jackson's one of those guys, though, just when you think you have him, all of a sudden he breaks loose. He's a guy that can put points on the board very quickly. Villanova will not have an opportunity to relax on him.
As Grice goes out, Calvin Bird is in. David Miller, number 12, is also in the Villanova lineup. 25-12 LSU. Woodard inbounds the ball to David Miller.
He just pushed Jackson out of the way to get the basketball. They're letting him play.
Jackson is with David Miller. For Chris Jackson, 2 personal fouls. Only 3 team fouls on Villanova. And since about the 6-minute mark, Villanova has been in the 1-and-1.
Well, here we see it. Jackson comes in. There, hits him on the arm.
For David Miller, he has played in 24 games, averaging 6.5 minutes a game. He had a stress fracture, the left tibia, and was out in November of '89.
Well, they had a bunch of those this year. It's just been amazing. They've had 3 or 4 guys that have had stress fractures that have cost them time, and most of them were early on in the year, and it's really kind of an amazing deal how all of a sudden it became contagious.
That was only the 14th free throw shot by David Miller this year. As he hits 2, he's now 9 for 15 from the line this season.
The press has really helped. It's created a different tempo for Villanova, and LSU has not run their half-court offense nearly as well, nor have they gotten any easy opportunities in transition.
Jackson can't catch the pass. Dowdell does. Here's Woodard. Out of control as he hit the deck. There's Dowdell. Singleton pokes the ball free. It's Villanova's basketball, but did Woodard ever hit the deck?
Well, I'll tell you, I think he anticipated contact, and all of a sudden it just kind of separated. He goes in, it looks like there's going to be a charge, and then everybody kind of shies off of it, and he never really gets into anybody, and he's anticipating the charge. There's nothing there, and he ends up on his back.
That doesn't leave very much room for a soft touch on a shot when you think you're going to get nailed. That's where the intimidation factor comes in again for LSU. Dowdell takes the inbounds pass.
Well, they've elected now to front Grice in the low post with Sims, which means they're going to pick their help side up on the back. If Villanova clears that backside, there's not going to be anything there. Either that or there's going to be a jump shot at the top of the key.
Woodard guarded by Williamson. Miller drives and gets fouled on the draw. Gets the basket.
Could be. Have to see that. That's really going to be an interesting call.
That looked like a continuation, didn't it?
Could have been an NBA call right there. We'll have a chance to look at it. Here he comes off the screen. Duvall just doesn't get there. There's where the foul was called. Boom, boom. Another 2 steps before he takes the ball to the basket. Dale Brown saying, hey, what's the deal?
It's the basket for Lance Miller. A foul on Randy Duvall. His first, and a free throw now for Miller.
Well, once again, a thought as far as Villanova's concerned. Clear aside, let these guys take the ball a little bit one-on-one because you no longer have the big guys in intimidating the basket.
So the last 9 points have been scored by Villanova. There's a timeout. LSU 25, Villanova 17.
8, we'll get back there in a moment's time, but in the East region, Hartford, Connecticut, the Yukon Huskies on what we will call their home floor against BU. BU was down by 10 to start the game, but they are on a comeback trail with about 2 minutes left. Let's get out to Mike Gorman and Ron Perry in Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, I don't think he ever had possession. With that call, I was just about to say it was a benefit for Connecticut that the Breeze never did control the basketball, and that's what has Jim Calhoun irate, because he just tap danced with that ball and then picked it up in the backcourt.
Stewart takes it to the hole for 2 while everybody's arguing.
Big break as the Terriers capitalized quickly.
George trying to answer quickly. Tracked down in the corner by Daly. He swallowed up and got out of there somehow.
That's a big turnaround. That was Connecticut's possession, up by 6 with a chance to go up by 8. Instead, BU comes right back, closes it to 4 with a quick basket.
Near steal again by DePriest. DePriest, number 23, the best defensive player on this Connecticut team. Connecticut basketball that you're looking at right there, 13 2-points off turnovers, but the lead is only 3. Stewart a prayer, Moses there, back up, got it.
Very solid first half for Ron Moses off the glass at both ends.
29-28, it's down to a 1-point game. DePriest in traffic, trying to kick it out. Touched by one of the BU players. Moses allegedly got a hand on it. It'll be Husky ball with under a minute to go in what has been a wild first half.
Prior to the game, I really felt it was important for BU to hang tough early. If Connecticut jumped out quickly, they could put the lights out on the Terriers, and it happened. But to BU's credit, they've hung in there in this first half. They're going to go into the locker room with all kinds of confidence at halftime.
35 on the shot clock. Smith and George, the exchange.
Trying to attack this 3-2 from the perimeter.
John Glenn likes to shoot off the dribble, can't get it down. BU the ball, and a chance for the lead at halftime.
Look for Stephen Key to hold, and then they'll try to screen for him or perhaps try to free up Mark Daly for one of those 3-point bombs.
Key handling it outside. Jim Calhoun looking for a count from the official.
The official's holding his arms out, meaning it's greater than 6 feet, but he looks like he's about 3 feet away.
Wow. Davey can't hit. No, the foul's going to be on Moses, and that's number 2. I can't believe we didn't get a 5-second count.
That's right, Mike. If the player is greater than 6 feet away, you'll see an official hold his arms wide open, say, not being...
He could have reached out and touched it.
Contested tightly, that's right. He was about 3 feet away or even 2 feet. Could have reached out and hit the jersey. And we should have had a count during that interchange.
DePriest will step to the free throw line. 29-28. 2.6 seconds.
The games have been tightly contested all day. Ball State beating Oregon State by a point. Murray State taking Michigan State into overtime. It's NCAA time.
DePriest can't convert. Another big rebound from Moses. Key will just hold it, more than content with where BU sits at halftime. That's the end of the first half. Something of a shocking score out of Hartford. UConn 29, BU 28.
A number 16 seed has never beaten a number 1. BU just down by 1, 29-28, after the Huskies had opened the game at 10-0. We'll let you know how that one turns out. Right now, let us get back to the Southeast. Villanova on a 13-0 run against LSU.
Knoxville, Tennessee's Southeast region. Villanova's getting back into the game against LSU, and a foul against Villanova will give the Wildcats, or will give the ball to the Tigers, where the Wildcats, who are trailing at 25-8 with 6:57 left in the half, are now down by 4.
Very poor leadership, no real direction in what they're trying to do. The press, Villanova's 1-2-1-1, has wreaked havoc on LSU, not just in forcing turnovers, but also in disrupting their offense when they cross the 10-second line. They're a better job of stepping to the ball at the 10-second line.
There's the lob for Sims, and he can't get the basket. Sims does get the rebound. Boudreau scores it, and a foul. Harold Boudreau gets his first basket.
You have to give Sims a lot of credit. He kept the ball alive. He kept with it. Here we see it. Not necessarily good judgment here on the lob, but Sims just goes up over Dowdell, comes up with the ball with his size and strength, keeps it alive, and finally Boudreau's able to shake it loose for an easy basket and a possible 3-point play.
The foul is on Villanova's Aaron Bain is first. Even with that flurry, Bob, LSU had to wonder, will we score again in the first half?
Well, not only that, but what you don't also have at the other end is with the two big guys out, Villanova's been able to run their offense, drive the ball to the basket. The intimidation factor isn't there. It's just got a little bit easier for them. They were only shooting 16%. Now they're, of course, shooting with more confidence because they don't have the big guys in there swatting it away.
At 6:57 left in the half, LSU had a 17-point lead. Now it's 7, and here comes Williams. Williams on the jam.
Poor judgment on Williamson's part, but they got away with it because Sims was active to the ball.
LSU had gone 0 for 10 before the last 2 field goals. Now Walker splitting double-team pressure, finds Bain. A minute 19 left in the first half with LSU up by 9. Walker's watched by Jackson. Aaron Bain for Grice. Grice is fronted by Boudreaux. Out of bounds, off Dowdell.
Well, when they don't have the big guys in, they've elected to front. Here comes Williamson. He should pull up at the free throw line and make a decision there. But he takes the ball in too deep, doesn't get a good shot. Sims with the follow. They've elected to front Grice in the low post without the big guy, get help off the backside. He's got traffic, doesn't distribute the ball well, and we've got a turnover.
In less than a minute until halftime, LSU with the lead of 30-21 and the ball.
They'll look for Jackson on the last shot as they get the clock down, but Villanova's going to have a chance to get the ball back. Woodard is out there trying to overplay, deny Jackson the basketball, but he'll get the ball. He's just too quick, too clever for Woodard.
Jackson has 4 points, 2 for 5 from the field in the first half, 3 for 6.
Well, it's just, you know, I mean, that's a mismatch. I mean, you've got to get help inside if Jackson's going to back cut you because Woodard can't overplay and also keep him from going to the basket.
So Villanova will look for the last shot of the first half with 20 seconds left, down 32-21. This is Grice.
Jackson will get a 3. Jackson will get a 3 right here. At least he'll get a crack at a 3.
Jackson tries to spin in on Woodard. Williamson takes the 3. And that's the way the first half ends. This game between LSU and Villanova. After 20 minutes of play from Knoxville, Tennessee, it's LSU leading Villanova 32-23. And coming up at halftime, we'll have a talk with the athletic directors of LSU and Villanova.
Definitely has been a game of streaks. It was 25-8 at one point for LSU. Villanova went on a 13-0 run, but LSU pumped it up again. They have the lead. We'll have more. I'll be joined by Dick Vitale. We'll talk about the tournament. But first, the lockout. It has been going on for close to a month now. We are joined by Bob Lee and possibly about to come to an end.
There have been, as we said before, freelance discussions going on.
ESPN's NCAA tournament tonight. LSU versus Villanova. Brought to you by Volkswagen. Say the word. Farfanugan. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. By the good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
LSU leads Villanova at halftime. Back to the southeast in just a moment, and I'll be joined by Dick Vitale. But first, let us take a look elsewhere today in Salt Lake City. In the West region, Ball State and Oregon State. The Beavers were upset in their own tournament, and Ball State was out to make it 2 straight. Gary Payton fouls Paris McCurdy, his 4th of the day, and he has to take a little seat, and the mascot lets him know about it. Payton picked up his 5th foul later, had 11 points, no field goals in the second half. Alabegovic scores inside, 53-51. The Beavers are up in the final minute. Nick Hunsaker calls a timeout. Mike Spicer inbounds to Paris McCurdy. He scores, and he is fouled as time expires. So tied at 53, he goes to the line, knowing the worst he can do is send the game to overtime. As you look at Carl Anderson with the foul. Jim Anderson can't believe it. McCurdy at the line to win it. Just like that, as clutch as you can be. 54-53. Ball State, the number 12 seed, upsets the number 5 seed Oregon State, 54-53. Gary Payton fouled out with just 11 points in the game, well below his average of 26 points, so they advance. The Cardinals of Ball State will meet the Cardinals of Louisville. They handled Idaho 78-59. Eric Sullivan, 18 points, as the Cards use a 26-2 run to put this game away. In the East region in Hartford, Connecticut, many people had complained about the Connecticut Huskies playing on what we'll call their home floor. They played enough games there, 8. They'll face Boston U, and they came out flying. Stephen Key's pass is intercepted by Rod Sellers, who was questionable for the game. Hits Chris Smith, finds Scott Burrell, the outstanding freshman, 7-0 for the Huskies, and they weren't done. Chris Smith buries the 3. They're up 10-0. Jim Calhoun says that's how we get it done, playing the defense. Sellers then, as I said, had the bad knee, injured in the Georgetown game in the Big East tournament. Hits the hook, 13-3, and they look to be on a roll. But BU comes back. Ron Moses misses the air ball by Reggie Stewart, grabs it, and knocks it home. 29-28. UConn's lead, which was 10-0 in the game, is now just 1 point as they went into the locker rooms at halftime. Also in the East, Southern Miss against Lionel Simmons and LaSalle, 79-63. Simmons with 32 points, 16 rebounds. LaSalle wins for the 22nd consecutive time. Also in the East in Hartford, BYU gave Clemson a scare, number 12 against number 5. 49-47 is the final. Kirkland Howling his only points of the game on 2 3-pointers in the final 2.5 minutes of the game. Stay with us when we come back. We'll look elsewhere in the Southeast and the West. I'll be joined by Dick Vitale. Stay with us. More to come here on our tournament tonight. Back to our game in a moment, but let's check the scoreboard first from the Southeast in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is where the game, as you are watching now, is underway. 75-71, Michigan State taken to overtime by Murray State out of the OVC. Steve Smith with 22.6 in the overtime. UC Santa Barbara over Houston, and 9 beats 8, 70-66 was that final. Houston led just once in the second half. They come back and lose the game by 4. Towson State against Oklahoma. What a scare here. The Sooners, it was within 2 late in the game, 77-68, second straight year the Sooners were scared. Jackie Jones with 20, Skeeter Henry had 12. And Southwest Missouri State against North Carolina, 83-70 was the final. The Tar Heels advanced to face the Sooners in what should be a great second-round game. Right now, just underway, Princeton and Arkansas, the Razorbacks. Could they be worried about the team that nearly locked off Georgetown last year? Let's join him for the tip.
Ron Franklin and Bob Ortegol from Austin, Texas, the Frank Irwin Special Events Center, as we prepare to tip this one off. The Arkansas Razorbacks, champions of the Southwest Conference, against the kings of the Ivy League, the Princeton Tigers. Credit jumping against Miller, and it will go to the Princeton Tigers. Now, for those of you who have never seen Princeton play, if you see less than 20 passes per possession, let us know. And many times, not only will they pass it that many times, but Bob, they'll bring it back out and take a 3-pointer rather than work for even a better shot inside.
That is so true, and Arkansas is attacking in a matchup zone. It's a 1-1-3. That's the way they start. It looks like a 2-3.
Sean Jackson for 3. Harlan Bowers, a surprise starter in this one tonight, defensive specialist for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Where's number 20?
Princeton and Arkansas, Dick Vitale. We stood here stunned last year as they nearly knocked off Georgetown. Your impressions of the day so far, though?
Well, I think basically today has shown, number one, that there's a real defensive effort being emphasized on the floor. The total points scored, only one team went over the 80 mark. That was North Carolina. 66.6 points was the average scoring, John, in the first 8 games. So it shows, again, that emphasis on defense, number one. Teams get a little bit more conservative at times at the tournament time. The other thing that jumps at me, the Towson States, the Murray States, the Boston Universities, able to play against the heavyweights and really take them down to the wire. And again, it shows that magical word. We heard Pete Rozelle, parity in football. It exists in college basketball because there are legitimately 25 teams that have a shot. The destination, Denver, Rocky Mountain High. We can't predict who's going to be in the Final Four. Don't let anybody tell you they can, because it is wide open.
It's been a great day thus far. Princeton could pull off an upset if they knock off Arkansas. We will join that game for the second half. It's still to come, the second half of Villanova and LSU in the Southeast in Knoxville. 17 shots. They now lead the number 1 seed, 37-34. We'll keep you updated right now, though. Back to LSU and Villanova in Knoxville.
All right, here we go with the second half. 20 minutes up on the board. 32-23. LSU with the lead and Villanova with the basketball.
Well, we see LSU come out, change of pace with a 2-3 zone. Give Villanova a little bit different look.
Dowdell steps up, but he can't score it. He fights to get it back and went out of bounds. LSU's basketball. 26% shooting in the first half for Villanova. That drops down to 25% now. Chris Jackson, who has the ball now before giving it up, has 6 points in the game. Goes O'Neal low. Rice with the foul. The basket for O'Neal.
Jackson only gets 6 shots in the first half, but, you know, that's partly because Villanova runs people at him, forces him to give it up, and then won't let him have it back. Good move here by O'Neal. O'Neal, of course, with 2 fouls. Roberts with 3. Singleton with 3. Nobody else in the game really in foul trouble, so we should see a wide-open second half.
O'Neal misses on the 3-point play opportunity. He has 7 points tonight, and LSU's lead is 34-23. LSU's biggest lead in the first half was 17.
Get the high post wide open. The way LSU plays their zone is that they try to cover with the guards the 3 perimeter players, which then allows the high post to open up. And all they need to do is hit in high right here. Dowdell's wide open in the high post, as is Bryce.
Bryce for the hook. The LSU rebound for Nell Singleton.
Well, he shoots the hook, and it's really not a hook. He's shooting toward the basket. Dowdell's got a mismatch inside with Roberts.
Out to Singleton. Singleton's getting plenty of room from Woodard.
Well, they're playing off of him in an attempt to jam things up inside. Roberts is just too big for Dowdell if they'll get him the ball.
Miller knocks the ball out of bounds on a pass intended for Jackson. Chris Jackson has had just 1 game in single digits this year, and that was 9 points against Auburn on the 7th of February. Aaron Bain in for Villanova. Woodard goes out.
It's an interesting matchup defensively because Bryce is playing on O'Neal, and yet O'Neal is not nearly as polished an offensive player as is Roberts. That's why I'm surprised they haven't gone to Roberts against Dowdell.
That's picked off by Dowdell. Here's Bain back out to Walker. Walker shoots for 3. Look who was out there with it. Roberts, and O'Neal gets the rebound.
Here it comes.
Jackson with the no-look pass. Out of bounds. Out of Roberts' hands, but off Villanova.
Really good play by Chris Walker. Jackson could have picked up, shot the free throw, took it in too deep, narrowed down the area that Walker had to defend. He gets a hand in there. Here we see it. If Jackson pulls up, Walker's got to make a decision, but he takes it a little bit too deep here, and Walker, of course, gets a hand on the ball.
And a Villanova steal gives the Cats the ball. Bryce traveled as he tried to step into O'Neal.
Big call because it was going to be a foul on O'Neal.
Bryce took the step before the contact happened. 6 steals now in the game for Villanova, but they can't convert after the last.
Taylor in the game. Villanova with some full court pickup.
Connecticut leads Boston University 29-28 at halftime. 17:50 left in this game, and LSU is up 34-23.
There they've got the matchup straightened out. They now have Bryce on Roberts.
Roberts can't hang on. Jackson tries to save it. The ball belongs to Villanova.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to come down and rather than defend the post, take the post away physically by moving the LSU players up the lane so that when they catch it, they're out of their comfort zone.
Here's Chris Walker, sophomore. Bain on the outside. Miller. Bryce. Roberts rebounds. He's up big and strong. Jackson has scored 6 tonight. And we have a timeout on the floor. A timeout with 17:15 left in the game. LSU 34, Villanova 23. More basketball from the Southeast region in Knoxville after this.
It's Princeton, but Arkansas is down 15-7 in the first half. And in the East, a tight game between 1 against 16. The Huskies are now up by 2. Let's get it back to Knoxville, LSU and Villanova.
Villanova with the basketball and 17:10 left to play. LSU 34, Villanova 23. The Wildcats have more turnovers than they have field goals, yet they're still within reach.
Well, LSU has not really converted. They're in a 2-3 zone right now. The top of the key is wide open in the zone.
This is a shot for two.
They have not made a three-pointer yet in this game.
Woodard tries to track it down. It's out of bounds off LSU with Singleton over on the sideline, last touching the ball. This telecast is presented by authority of the NCAA. Any use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions.
Good defensive adjustment by Dale Brown at half. Villanova not shooting the ball particularly well. Roberts with 3 fouls. They go to the zone. They're going to tell Villanova, you've got to show us that you can hit it from out there.
Miller to Taylor, and he fans it out to Walker. Woodard volleys, so does O'Neal, but O'Neal brings it in for LSU. Villanova's 0 for 6 this half from the field.
They're doing an interesting thing to slow down the LSU break. Every time the ball comes out, they're fanning out toward Jackson so that when he catches it, he has to control it. He can't just go up the court with it. They need to look to get the ball to Williamson, and he can take the ball up the floor.
Williamson got the ball and then sent it into O'Neal. And Woodard is called for the foul.
Interesting defensive adjustment in slowing down the break, which hurt Villanova early and got them into a situation where they've had to play from behind. Jackson out, Duval in. We'll just see how well they're able to run their offense.
Aaron Bain in for Woodard. Roberts catches the ball deep in the corner. Now Williamson on the drive. Gets the basket and one.
Big play.
That's the first 2-point field goal for Williamson, who has 14 points tonight.
Well, that's making something out of a mistake. Here, they couldn't get the ball, and they finally get it to Roberts in the corner. Williamson steps in, catches the ball in the low post, which is the last place you expect him to be, drives it to the basket, and gets a possible 3-point play. Good job of making an adjustment to convert what looks like a bad situation into a very positive situation.
Taylor on the rebound of Williamson's miss. The foul was on Walker, his second. The 13th foul on Villanova. LSU has yet to commit a foul in the second half.
They really extended their 2-3. They're trying to play the 3 perimeter guys with the 2 guards, which means the high post is wide open. Here it is.
Here's the steal by Singleton. And he missed the slam dunk. Duval runs it down. And he'll bring it back out.
Great hustle by Chris Walker to come back. Dale Brown thinks there should have been a foul.
And LSU retains possession. Duval. Roberts out to Williamson. Williamson is leading LSU with 14. He goes into the 3. That's out of bounds to Villanova.
Big swing. What looks like a sure 2-point play on a breakaway ends up with an air ball by Williamson.
Score showed a 9-point lead for LSU at 32-23. Right now it's a 36-23 lead for LSU. That's a shot for 3, and it won't go for Walker.
Roley said that's okay. That's the shot we want. I think they're getting the shot a little bit quick. Plus, they're not exploring inside. They've got Price in there. They can work inside out against the zone because the high post is wide open. Oh, man, that'll get you.
Is whistle for the foul. He has 3 fouls. Roberts has 3, so does Singleton.
Well, it's just, I mean, it's so physical right now. There's so much upper body, elbows, arms, playing off each other with their upper body. And the officials, you know, just in a situation we have to call. You're going to see it here on the right side. As the ball goes in, you can see O'Neal just pushes Taylor out of the way with his right arm and looks for the ball with his left hand.
Right in front of John Leinbach, who made the call.
What Villanova's not getting right now is any penetration with the ball. They're not drawing the defense to them. As a result, they're not creating an open shots on the perimeter. There, you got it inside. Excellent play.
Price and O'Neal got a hand on it. Roberts clears it for LSU. Randy Duval into the front court. O'Neal. He went in out of control. He walked with the ball. Travel call on O'Neal and LSU.
Well, the thing that I'm not really understanding right now is they elect every time to bring the ball into O'Neal's side, and O'Neal is the less of the polished offensive players. You got to bring it into Roberts and let Roberts work Grice a little bit. Pick up a foul, get Grice in trouble, but they've elected to do it with O'Neal, and O'Neal just has not responded well offensively.
LSU is pitching a shutout so far in the second half, 4-0. 36-23 our score. A good play, though, on the other end for Rodney Taylor, standing his ground. Here's Grice. He runs into heavy traffic. And a foul's called as Singleton has reached in. The foul.
Well, I'm chuckling, but boy, I mean to tell you, I don't know what everybody we're looking at in here. It's just, I mean, it is absolutely bizarre the way guys are throwing arms and grabbing at arms and swinging and winging, and I just, I find it hard to believe that there isn't something in there earlier, either a travel or a foul. But boy, I mean, they're letting them play, although it is getting, I think, a little bit too physical.
O'Neal picks up his 4th foul, and Wayne Sims will be coming in for LSU. Grice can't get the roll. He's only made 1 free throw in 4 tries.
Well, they've got to look to get the ball inside. The last 2 trips down, they've got it to Grice. They've come up with pretty good opportunities. Grice missed a shot. Now he's on the free throw line. But as they get the ball in there and he continues to look offensively to score, it's going to set up their perimeter game. And it's going to set it up in such a way that they're shooting those 12- and 14-foot jump shots instead of the 18- and 20-foot jump shots.
Grice gets a breather. Bird is back in for Villanova.
There we see the press again, which is what they had so much trouble with. Williamson handles the ball well.
It off to Roberts.
Well, that play is made by Williamson, simply stopping at the free throw line, making the defensive player commit. If he goes in too deep, then he's got nothing. Great judgment by Williamson. Roberts finishes the play.
Williamson gets 4 assists per game for LSU, and a big one there. Here's Woodard. Dowdell around Roberts. This is a shot for 3 that finally goes down. Lance Miller has 15 now. 1 for 10 shooting in the second half for Villanova.
Much better job against the press this half than they did in the first half, LSU.
Villanova 1 for 10 from 3-point range. Coming down to 13 minutes left in the game. Roberts on the turnaround.
Great shot by the big guy. Boy, you talking about a pro move there. Caught the defense by surprise.
40-27 LSU, and Roberts has 6. This is Aaron Bain. Now Miller giving it up to Dowdell for the basket.
Simply based on penetration. 2 penetrating moves by 2 different players. Frees up Dowdell going to the basket.
Dowdell has 4. Bird goes for the steal, keeps the ball alive. And he gets the basket. Calvin Bird scores his first hook.
Well, Williamson gets careless with the ball. He just, he's too casual sometimes with the basketball. 6 turnovers in the first half. Really no reason to turn the ball over against the press if you just use judgment. Might have been an over and back.
LSU has turned the ball over 7 times in the second half. Villanova has made 2 mistakes this half. Coming down to 12 minutes left.
They've got it set up for Roberts. They're really going to go at Dowdell without Grice in the game.
Sims. And there's Bird, who scored the last basket. It's a 9-point lead for LSU. Here's Dowdell stepping up. Roberts got in his way, and Sims clears it out. Williamson lobs for Singleton. And he brings it back out. Here's Roberts. Williamson fakes the 3. And an offensive foul on Mo Williamson.
Good call.
Personal.
No question about it. Good call. Comes to a dead stop. Defensive man's in position, jumps into him. Once again, trying to do too much. This is where Williamson gets in trouble. He's there, jumps into him. No question on the call.
There's a timeout on the court with the score, LSU 40, Villanova 31. We'll be right back.
In Austin, Texas, in the Midwest, the Arkansas Razorbacks were down 11 to Princeton. Let's go and join Ron Franklin and Bob Ortigal in the first half.
That Arkansas made.
Ron Franklin and Bob Ortigal from the Irwin Special Events Center in Austin, Texas, and the Princeton Tigers are working their magic early on in this game against the Arkansas Razorbacks. It is 22-16 Princeton, and they have led by as many as 11 points. Right now, just over 9 minutes to play until halftime. As Ron Hury has just picked up the foul, and it's a 1-on-1 situation. And going to the line is Eastwick, the sophomore from Baltimore, 6'8", 215-pounder. 3 fouls on Hury. He will have to come out of the game, and Arlen Bowers will come back in. Arlen started in this one today. He's a junior out of Memphis Southside.
Outstanding defensive player Bauer is. Great quickness and speed. Really makes a lot of things happen on the floor.
Eastwick swishes it for his 7th point. All the conversations about Princeton, Bob, they said the same thing. If you don't think these guys can shoot, just watch them on Thursday evenings. And I don't think, of course, as I say that, Eastwick misses on that second free throw attempt, to just hide and watch them on Thursday night. And they are at a very high percentage now. In fact, they were perfect after their first 5 shots, and 3 of those were three-pointers. Bowers loses it. Turnover to Princeton. Sean Jackson. Back out on top to Miller. As they bring the center high. He is the key to the Princeton offense, wouldn't you say?
The way in which they play Miller determines a lot of what Princeton will do. Look at that.
Bounce on the give and go of Kip Miller. That's as basic as basketball itself. 25-16. Day inside to Miller. Muscles his way up, and a travel against Oliver Miller.
Miller using his body inside. Watch him. He gets the basketball. He's not called for a foul here, but moving both feet. Didn't establish a pivot foot and keep one down. A second look at it. Here's the big guy in there, 270 pounds. But he had traveled prior to the time he took the shot.
Lappin has been held scoreless in this one. He leads the nation in three-point attempts. As Miller puts up an air ball on the jump hook and the outlet pass to Hawkins, and he'll get the easy 2. And a whistle. Foul called. Is that going to be against Hawkins, or is it going to be against Sean Jackson? It is against Hawkins, his first. And of course, we have been at 1-on-1 for about the last 4 minutes.
A big factor here in the first half. Princeton was able to get into 1-on-1 early with a little more than 12 minutes left on the clock.
Remember, we will have the second half of the Princeton-Arkansas game coming up. But right now, let's go to Hartford, Connecticut. Check the East. Mike Gorman and Ron Perry. Boston U is down big to the Huskies.
Smith, the up quick down to the Priest in the corner. Burrell leans in, won't go down. Rebound Brigham. BU trying to bounce back from that 21-1 run. And a turnover called on Stewart.
A double dribble call there. Stewart heard the footsteps.
Mike Jarvis's club for 26 of 27 minutes played so well here. Had a 4-point lead with the ball, and then all of a sudden the roof fell in. Smith, his leader won't go down. Connecticut's gone ice cold again.
They have. It seems that when Connecticut puts the burst together, they've got their defense going. And to get the defense going, they've got to get the ball to go down.
Smith, the strip.
Oh, that was a
grab, and there's no call. Gwen back to Smith. And he'll go to the line.
Smith pausing under the back.
Top-seeded Huskies look to be in control in the East. Let's return to Knoxville, Tennessee in the Southeast. Villanova and LSU looking to advance in Knoxville.
Dale Brown's LSU Tigers have a 44-34 lead over Rolly Massimino's Villanova Wildcats with 8:40 left to play. We're in the second half, this first-round Southeast Region game.
They've got to finalize against the press. They're bringing it across the 10-second line. They're not getting anybody into the high post where they can deliver the ball, turn, and look on the basket. They have the ball on the side, and that's the worst place to have it against the press.
Sims from the corner, and there's Roberts. Roberts has 10 points, 8 in this half, and Grice was called for the hold.
No question.
That's 2 fouls on Grice. Calvin Bird waits to check in on the far sideline.
Rolly's not happy with Grice. They've elected to play in behind. They're going to give him the basketball, but all he has to play is position. You can see Roberts as he goes to move. Grice just comes in with the elbows and the forearms and pushes him away from the ball. You have to call that. That affects play.
Williamson finds two-time American Chris Jackson. A reaching foul is called on Chris Walker. That's 3 fouls on Walker, 3 on Woodard. LSU's basketball from the sideline. All right, it's 1-and-1 time now. That's a foul that puts Villanova over the limit. LSU has committed only 3 fouls in the second half.
Jackson hasn't scored in the second half. We're looking at a guy that only got 6 shots in the first half, 6 points. And, you know, to think that LSU at this point could be up 10 with 8 minutes to go and him not really scoring, you know, wouldn't surprise anybody. But one thing you can bet on, he's not going to miss free throws. He's shooting 90-some% from the free throw line. And this is a guy that you cannot afford to foul, particularly late in the game.
He has hit 11 straight free throws. He had a 6-for-6 game against Auburn. 2-for-2 in this one. He's 3-for-7 from the field, 2-for-2 from the line, 8 points.
Well, Villanova has got to make a run. They've got to figure this zone out. They've got to start penetrating the gaps, screening the backside. And as I've mentioned before, they've got it open in the post. They just have to deliver the ball in the post, collapse the zone, and kick it out for jump shots.
Woodard can't connect on the 3. Taylor. And that's a rainbow. Grice with the stick back. 10 now for Tom Grice.
But that can't possibly be the shot that they want. They passed it 2 times and shot it under pressure.
Here's Williamson all the way in, and he runs into Grice. It's a travel. You meet the most interesting people in the lane, don't you?
Game's a game of judgment.
7:43 left in the game. LSU 46, Villanova 36. With 7:43 left in the game. Chris Jackson tonight with 8 points, 2 coming from the free throw line. Oh, Williamson has 14. 92 points on the season for LSU, but the Tigers have scored 46 tonight. Villanova has been averaging 71 points a game, but the Wildcats have but 36.
Well, we talked at the top about keeping them under 70 and having a chance to win, but we just didn't realize they were going to shoot the ball so poorly. It's got to go in. It's got to go into the post. They've got to collapse the perimeter people. They're getting away with guarding 3 perimeter players with 2 guards right there.
Grice on the hook. Ask and you shall receive.
Well, it's there. And you know, they've either got to identify at LSU.
Bain got in the way of that play. It's off Jackson, and Villanova gets the ball back. And a chance to cut it to a 6-point game.
LSU wants a timeout. They just have not handled. Right here, we've got the isolation. Grice is in there, wide open. He turns and looks. Now, that brings people back to him. If nobody guards him, you turn and score. If somebody comes back in, you kick it out and shoot a step-up jumper.
And Grice has scored 12 points tonight. There's a timeout on the court with the score. LSU 46 and Villanova 38.
The Tigers are up 34-28 over the number 4 seed from Arkansas. And in the East, the UConn Huskies using a 21-1 run, and 20 points from the Dove NFL are in command over Boston U. Let's get it back to Knoxville, Tennessee.
LSU has made plenty of mistakes. Let's see if Villanova can cut the gap. That's a shot for 3. No good for Walker. Now he's 0 for 8 from 3-point range.
Well, when you're 2 for 14 from 3-point and 27% from the field, I mean, you know, you've got to feel pretty good. You're only 8 down 8.
Singleton going in, and a block is called against Grice. 3 fouls now on Tom Grice.
Once again, ball in the low post creates so much activity around the basketball, it just opens things up. You have to catch the ball in the low post and look opposite. All the help's coming from the backside. And now you've got Grice in there with all of a sudden 4 fouls, and he's really the only guy in there that can compete with the big guys for LSU.
Yeah, it said 3. It's 4 fouls for Grice. Singleton has another shot coming. Singleton is 1 of 6 from the field. Only a 60% free throw shooter. He has 3 points.
Villanova's got to make a run. They've got to be somewhere in a reasonable margin inside that 3-minute mark. They've got to make a run. They can't now trade baskets.
They'll learn Walker on the outside. Taylor comes out to get the ball. Taylor's in trouble. He pans it out to Walker. Miller steps inside Roberts, finding Grice. Here's Walker for 3, and he hit it.
That's a big basket. It's a big basket for a lot of reasons. It gets him back into a reasonable range, but also Walker's got to feel better.
That's his first basket tonight. Here's Singleton.
Oh, good offense against the press.
Vernell Singleton has 5. An 8-point lead now for LSU. 6:10 and counting left in the game.
Comes back to getting the ball in the middle against the press. Good things happen. There he is again.
Too tall for Grice. Woodard threw the ball away, and Jackson will inbound now for LSU.
Get the ball in the middle if you're LSU.
There's O'Neal. He gets his own rebound.
Oh.
Scores.
Big basket. Roley's got to take a look at a timeout. I think they just got to talk about, hey, are we going to be around this tournament? We're down to 6 minutes, and we've got to make something happen.
O'Neal with 9 points now for LSU, and the Tigers back to his own. Walker couldn't hit his second 3-point shot. Roberts rebounds.
Maurice Williamson, he will handle the ball. He may have traveled there. Surprised Jackson isn't taking the ball and taking the game under more control. He seems to be content to play off of Williamson as the point player.
Now Roberts over Grice. 12 for Roberts.
He's looking timeout. He's got to do this. Well, no, he's decided not to.
Walker pulled up. It appeared he was ready to call a timeout. Now here comes Jackson.
He should have, because he's going to have to get one now.
Jackson has 10.
It's getting away.
55-41 LSU. LSU had a 17-point lead in the first half. Woodard from the 3-point line.
Good penetration, good dump off.
That's a shot to 3.
As simple as it can be. Zone offense is based around penetrating, bringing people to you, and then kicking it off.
It's an 11-point game now. Singleton pulls up and fans it out to Jackson. Goal for Roberts. Back to Jackson. Bounce off Villanova. Substitutions. Mark Dowdell is back in along with Aaron Bain. Taylor goes out, and so does Greg Woodard. Jackson will inbound the ball now for LSU with 4:20 left to play. And the Bayou Bengals leading 55-44. Roberts back to Jackson. But Roberts just touching the ball. Williamson saves it out front.
Well, O'Neal kept it alive. You know, you don't always have to rebound the ball by catching it. You can also keep it alive, which he did by tipping it. They're fronting in low. They've got to flash the opposite guy and look for the lob.
Singleton protects the ball. Bain is over on Williamson now.
LSU has too much trouble with very, I think, position-like pressure because they don't look into the high post. They have the 2 guys in the low post, and when they sense pressure, those big guys have got to flash and help release pressure. Otherwise, you know, you can have one guy down there guarding both of them.
Now with the shot clock inside 10. Williamson lobs inside for Roberts. Rebound Dowdell with Villanova. There's Walker in the front court now for the Wildcats. A 3-point attempt. A long rebound. Bain can't get it because Williamson stepped in front. Singleton, 57-44 LSU.
Williamson sometimes makes such a good decision, but so many times makes such a bad decision.
Dowdell in the lane. Swatted by Shaquille O'Neal.
They're pumped.
Miller for 3. Grice rebound. O'Neal. Here's Jackson.
Yes. Get a timeout.
Chris Jackson. And a timeout with 2:44 left to play in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Well, this is just a case of transition off your defense. Missed shot. Grice goes up. Looks like an easy one. O'Neal kicks it out. Jackson picks it up. You've got a 3-on-1. He pulls up. There it is.
And with that basket, LSU is leading Villanova 59-44. Biggest lead of the game, but just 2 points shy of that.
Villanova's played from behind from the opening gun. It was a 10-2. They've just never been able to cut into it enough to make a run.
That goes for Walker. 2 3-point baskets now for Chris Walker. And Walker is 2 of 13 from the field in his 6 points.
Well, the thought here, as much problems as LSU has had in getting the ball in bounds, they need to think seriously about bringing one of the big guys up and just lobbing the ball. Jackson takes it out, lob it, kick it back to him, clear it, but you can't run down the floor, let 3 guys in the backcourt.
LSU up by 12 over Villanova in the Southeast. Let's move to the Midwest in Austin, Texas. Princeton's lead is gone. They're down by 3.
Ron Franklin and Bob Ortegal from the Midwest region in Austin, Texas. Just under a minute to play. Princeton led by 11, and the Razorbacks have come surging back. They are now up by 3. Arkansas 40-37.
Ron, the difference in this half is that Arkansas, when out of the man-to-man, has gone 1-3-1 half-court zone trap. That's how they were able to get this thing turned around. Good coaching move by Nolan Richards.
Bob, it's also turning it up still another degree because Arkansas has gone on a 10-1 run. As Miller back outside to Jackson for 3, not there. Tipped by Lappin, won't go, and Todd Day has the rebound over to Bowers. Day backs up, 3 if it goes, not there. Lappin for Princeton.
Arkansas started in the zone, went man-to-man. We haven't seen the Arkansas Razorbacks play a lot of 1-3-1 half-court zone trap this year. They used to play a lot of it, and it has been most effective.
Lob inside, stolen with the Razorbacks. Knocked away by Miller. Todd Day with 1 second left, misses on the jumper. So they are standing at the Irwin Center here in Austin, Texas for this first round action. And for all the people that said Princeton would be dangerous, Arkansas will stand in line and say, we agree. That's the end of the first half with our score. Razorbacks 40 and Princeton 37.
Princeton had led by as many as 11, but they're down by 3 at halftime. A reminder, we will have the entire second half of this game following the game you're watching now. And in the East, it's now a final, a 21-1 run by the Huskies, 76-52. They blow out BU, champions in the North Atlantic. Right now, let's get it back to Knoxville, Tennessee, the final minutes of LSU and Villanova.
Chris Jackson just got his 13th and 14th points of the game, giving LSU a 61-47 lead. And now a foul's called on Maurice Williamson, his 3rd for LSU.
Well, that's exactly what you don't want with 2:12 to go up 14, is to put him on the free throw line. Here we see the block. Outstanding play by Jackson. It looks like Miller's going to get the block. In fact, does have it. Jackson pumps, pulls it down, brings it back up. Still get the basket with Williamson on the follow if he would have missed.
Walker, too strong with his 3. Dowdell. 6 now for Mark Dowdell. And a timeout for Villanova with 2:04 left in the game. 61-49 LSU.
Villanova's a game bunch. You know, just when you think that LSU has applied the knockout, they're hanging around. Now, 12 points is a lot of points in 2:04. But LSU has had so much trouble with the press. I'm a little surprised they've elected to have Williamson handling the ball, as opposed to allowing Chris Jackson to handle the ball. They need to get the middle filled. They need to use the big guys as a release, and then they need to run clock.
Rolly Massimino just used up his last timeout. Dale Brown has 2 timeouts remaining. We had 2 outstanding games earlier today, with UC Santa Barbara beating Houston 70-66. Eric MacArthur had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 block shots, and 4 steals for UC Santa Barbara.
Well, as we get here down to the last 2 minutes, LSU is not a great free throw shooting team. They're only shooting 67% from the line. But there's a kicker to all that, and that simply is that if you have the ball in Chris Jackson's hands, he's shooting 91%. So the team statistics a little bit misleading, because if Jackson will now take control and handle the basketball, they're going to have the guy at the free throw line that is not going to miss many free throws down the stretch. So this is a tough situation for Villanova. They cannot allow Chris Jackson to handle the basketball.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank NCAA Basketball Committee Representative Roy Kramer. He was our halftime guest tonight. Tournament manager Gus Manning, tournament media coordinator Haywood Harris. Villanova, the athletics director Ted Aceto, the head basketball coach Rolly Massimino, the sports information director Craig Miller, And from LSU, Athletics Director Joe Dean and basketball coach Dale Brown and basketball sports information director Kent Lowe.
Well, you can run the baseline now. You don't have to get stuck. He's got to bust it now. He's got to pull it off. Oh, he played a foul.
Williamson dribbled the ball out of bounds. No foul call, though, on Chris Walker.
Well, once again, if Williamson has had a problem, and he has had with the number of turnovers, see here, you know, this is like, I mean, this is a tackle. You know, we're not talking, you know, flag football.
Inside 2 minutes to go, 61-49 LSU. Miller with the hook pass to Woodard. Williamson tries to save it in. He can't do it.
Well, they've got to get the ball inside, kick it out the backside, shoot some step-up jump shots. They can't be dribbling it, trying to take it to the basket with 1:48 to go down 12. They've got to make something happen, and it's got to be positive from three-point range. Screen down, there's your shot.
Out of bounds to Villanova. Woodard, who just cleared, allowing Walker to go to the baseline. Woodard has scored in double figures in 22 of 32 games this year. Tonight, only 3 points, and he's 1 of 9 from the field.
Well, and he's a much better shooter than that, but that's part of the intimidation factor.
This is Walker. That's a 3.
Oh, he doesn't have any. Doesn't have any. Technical foul. They don't have any timeouts. Villanova calls a timeout. There are no timeouts left. We're going to have a technical foul. Grice calls a timeout.
A technical foul on Villanova. You know who's going to shoot the free throw?
Yes. Not only that, but you have the timeout. You have the free throws as well as now possession. So we're looking at a possible 6-point swing. 2 on the free throws.
2 for Chris Jackson. He's 2 for 2 from the free throw line tonight. Jackson has hit 13 straight free throws. At one stretch, I think he hit 35 in a row.
Tell you what, though, them getting the ball in bounds is at very best an adventure. So, I mean, you know, this is now one of those deals where, you know, this may be a good move by Villanova, aside from the fact, though, that Chris Jackson has made the free throws, because LSU's no sure bet to get this thing in bounds.
63-52 LSU. And with the 2 free throws, Chris Jackson has hit 16 points. Keep in mind, he came in averaging 28.7.
Well, if you're Villanova, what you have to try to do now is get your press set up in such a way that you either deny completely or you allow a player who you want to foul to get the ball in bounds. You know, to let Chris Jackson handle the basketball, you can't afford to give up the time. So if you can kind of channel it toward a guy who would like to have foul, and as soon as the ball comes in, foul him, then that gives you an opportunity to get a certain player to the free throw line. But to try to deny, and then when it comes in, to try to shut down Chris Jackson after he gets the ball, that's a no-win situation. He's too clever with the basketball. He shoots free throws too well.
From three-point range this season, Villanova has hit 37%. Tonight, Villanova is 6 of 23, 26%. During the '87 NCAA meetings, Rolly Massavino lobbied to lose that three-point shot in college basketball.
Yeah, but it's really helped him this year on a number of occasions. What's interesting is if this game continues as it is, you have a guy who is 7-0 in first-round games, 9-0 because of the seeding back when in first games played, that's about to experience his first loss as a coach in the NCAA tournament, and that's an absolutely incredible record.
All right, LSU will have the ball after 2 free throws. The 2 technical shots were made by Chris Jackson.
Here we go.
And Jackson will inbound the ball in front of us.
Got the lob again if you need it. Just get it up.
There's the lob to Singleton.
Oh, my golly, I thought he was going to the wrong basket.
So did I for a moment, and he walked with the ball.
I honestly, you know, I thought he was going to go shoot it the other basket.
Grice and Bain come back in now for Villanova. Bird and Taylor check out.
Well, as I mentioned to you, it's an adventure. It's an adventure every time they take the ball in bounds, and it shouldn't be. Oh, yes.
Here's Bain high off the glass. Roberts rebounds for LSU. All over his back, Mark Dowdell.
Good quick foul.
1:28 left with LSU up 63-52.
Boy, Roberts has played awfully well for him tonight, particularly in the second half, and he's played extremely well when O'Neal's been out of the game. But, you know, these two big guys are so physical and so strong, and they pound on you all night long that eventually it takes its toll.
And it's funny how a few games at the end of the season and some tough losses that LSU expected to win, that can put some tarnish on a season where you have 22 victories for the Tigers.
Well, they're so young, and the expectations were so unrealistic. You don't win with freshmen and sophomores on a regular basis the way people expected these guys to win. Boy, they're holding him.
Chris Walker has 12 points, all on threes. Williamson will shoot a 1-and-1 after the Villanova foul.
But in the same token, you don't lose to Florida and you don't lose to Auburn. So, I mean, it's been a little bit of both. It's been some unrealistic expectations, and yet they have not played to the level that they're capable of. And part of that is just that they have not really had continuity in what they're doing. One half, it's the Chris Jackson show. The next half, it's the Roberts O'Neal show, and they haven't had a very good blend. Plus, this is the best they've played defensively all year long.
Well, Williamson, who will be at the free throw line after the LSU timeout, scored 14 points tonight, 4 3-point shots, and a 2-point field goal. He'll be at the line. He's 0 for 1 from the free throw line. But with his points tonight, 14, he has 13 turnovers.
Well, and, you know, not to beat a dead horse, because it's a day old now, but the news out of Baton Rouge that Chris Jackson has either already told his teammates or has made the decision to go hardship to the NBA. This is just another game for him to have an opportunity to play, and it'll be interesting to see that story unfold. But I think LSU has shown, regardless of the situation, they're a team to be reckoned with, at least in this tournament. You know, they can't be worried about what's going to happen next week or next year. They've got to be concerned about what's happening in the last minute and 15 now and what's going to happen on Saturday, because they're looking at strapping on somebody pretty good, as you do when you get through those first-round games.
Well, Dale Brown, he always gives us good copy and some good lines to use. Here's Arkansas leading Princeton by 3 at halftime in the Midwest. But getting back to Dale Brown, he'll always give us some good copy. But he was taking all the heat yesterday because of the way LSU has played down the stretch. He said, look, I have no more captains. I'm the captain, I'm the coach, I'm the assistant coach, and the trainer rolled all into one.
Well, he said he was going to come out before the game.
But he didn't do it, did he?
Well, he tried to. He tried to, and the official said, no, you have to have a captain on the floor. So then he appointed O'Neal. But you have to get a kick out of it, because a week ago he told people he wasn't going to talk anything about basketball. And then yesterday, of course, he was back talking about Venus and Saturn and all those different things. But God love him, he's great for basketball. He's colorful, and there's no question but that he has this team ready to play tonight.
Williamson is 0 for 2 from the free throw line. There's Walker. 15 points for Chris Walker.
Well, it's unbelievable watching what's going on here. We're sitting here talking about this and that and the other thing. All of a sudden, it's a 5-point game with a minute. The guy is a master in the last minute and a half of a game, and that's why he's never lost a first-round game in the NCAA tournament. Well, they're just double screening for Walker, and Walker all of a sudden has found it, shoots it over Roberts, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Williamson's back to the line where he'll shoot a 1-and-1. He missed the front end a moment ago. The foul was on Lance Miller, sending Williamson to the line.
Well, you have to remember, in the game against Georgia, a really critical game earlier in the year where they had Georgia put away, they missed the front end of 10 1-and-1s, and Georgia beat them at the buzzer. They're going to have to make free throws, but I still think they have to get the ball in Chris Jackson's hands.
Williamson makes it a 65-58 LSU lead.
Making them work the ball up, take time off. Good move by Dale.
Miller steps up looking for Walker. Walker throws up a 3. Miller trying to chase it down. It's out of bounds, though. Off LSU. Some good hustle over on the sideline by Vernell Singleton.
Well, Walker, instead of shooting a fadeaway three-pointer, needs to go straight up because Williamson was all over him. He's going to get to the free throw line. LSU's got to be careful. They're playing the clock now. They've got to make sure that they're not giving up a potential 4-point play by fouling on a fadeaway jump shot at three-point range.
There's Walker. And there's a foul on Williamson.
I don't understand it. Boy, I'm going to tell you, is Dale Brown hot? I mean, Maurice Williamson right now does not want to go to the bench.
Chris Walker does want the free throw line.
Well, I mean, this just makes no sense. You're playing the clock, and there's no question. If the thing goes in, you're looking at a possible 4-point play. And you've only got a 7-point lead. Your enemy right now is the clock and making free throws. You've got enough points to win the game if you take care of the ball, and if you shoot free throws, you're assured of having enough points. Villanova can't get enough possessions unless you allow them to score with the clock stopped.
Walker scored 1 point with the clock stopped at 44 seconds. Again, 2 points. 17 for Chris Walker. And LSU takes a timeout with 44 seconds left, and it's a 5-point game. LSU 65 and Villanova 60.
This is so typical of LSU. It just slides and slides and slides.
Villanova with no timeouts, no way to stop the clock except for fouling. And Victor Vitale, you have talked about this many times. You'd like to see a change in the rules.
I really would, John. I think the game becomes very boring. We got an exciting college basketball game. I'd like to see them utilize the international rule where you have the option, take the ball out of bounds or shoot the free throw at the end of the game, especially in the last 2 minutes. I'd also like to see them not allow the coaches to accumulate timeouts. For example, you have 4 TV timeouts per half, and then you have your timeouts that you are geared to get, the 4 regular ones. I'd like to see a coach have 2 timeouts per half, non-accumulate them, so you can't just keep calling TO, 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 and it's boring, boring, boring. It takes forever. I'm falling asleep. You get Zsville. Let's play basketball.
Of course, you didn't expect the problem to be LSU fouling, but Williamson.
Oh, they're not playing really well at the end of the game. I mean, their performance in the last 4 minutes is very, very poor. But I thought, and I've seen LSU several times this year, that this was one of their better performances because they had balance. It wasn't a one-on-one show, and everybody else was the Kodak man. Take my picture. I'm Chris Jackson. I'm the All-American. They got everybody involved offensively and defensively until the end of the game.
Okay, right now, let us get it back for the final seconds. LSU looks to be in command and headed to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Let's go back to Knoxville, Tennessee. Villanova trying to pull it out.
4:50 Eastern time on Saturday. We have 44 seconds remaining in this first-round Southeast Region game. LSU with a 5-point lead over Villanova, and Villanova still hanging around with 44 ticks left.
Chris Walker's come alive for him. They've got to get the ball. They've got to get the ball. There's the lob. They've got to get the ball now to Chris Jackson. They're not looking to get the ball quickly enough to the 91% free throw shooter.
Shaquille O'Neal, the 18-year-old freshman from San Antonio, Texas, is a 54% free throw shooter. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Dowdell committed the foul.
15 Walker, 33 Grimes, along with 44 Bain.
The other thing that's a little bit interesting is that they elect to come out of their zone press offense or their press offense without really screening. Each guy is working on his own, and you know, they need to think about screening for Jackson and bringing him off into an open area rather than trying to get him open on his own, because Villanova can double up on him and keep him from getting open.
O'Neal hits 2 free throws.
Boy, are those big free throws. Now, LSU's making Villanova work the ball up the floor. They just can't foul.
O'Neal rebounds for
Here we go.
Williamson lobby for Singleton.
Oh, that's the nail. That's the nail in the coffin there.
A 9-point LSU lead. Walker throws up a 3. Long rebound for Williamson. And it's a tie ball.
Well, we got one as a tie ball, one with a foul. Regardless, it's going to be LSU's ball. Possession arrow favors the Tigers.
The Tigers get the ball. Bird comes back in. David Miller is in for Villanova. Bain goes out, and so does Chris Walker.
You got 2 teams playing here with only really 1 senior. You've got to give both teams a lot of credit.
Dowdell reaches over. 4 fouls on Mark Dowdell.
Well, Raleigh's saying, I can't believe it. And I tell you, he really has a case, because it looked like O'Neal may have pushed off here. Here we see the lob. Once again, it's not necessary. But that's LSU. That's the way they play. That's where they're comfortable. They have to play the way they feel they're best suited to play. And, you know, where a lot of coaches would say, back it out, use the clock. In their opinion, that's a sure thing.
21 and 1 now for Shaquille O'Neal. 11 points, 11 rebounds, 3 block shots. 12 points now for O'Neal.
As I said earlier, if you're a big guy and you can make free throws, you're going to be in double figures every night out.
A 10-point game. It stays that way. Rice with the rebound.
Good pickup. Once again, using the clock. Don't foul.
That's a 3 for Walker. 20 for Walker.
Well, no timeouts. They really don't even have to get the ball in bounds.
That's a foul on Bain. 3 seconds to go. 70-63 LSU.
Who would have thought Villanova would have shot the ball so poorly? They were so loose, so confident, so ready to play, and they just could not get it to go down early. They started to press on their shots. LSU created problems because of their domination inside and intimidation. Villanova could just never get it to a workable number.
Williamson on the miss. And that's the game. LSU advances to play the winner of East Tennessee State and Georgia Tech, a game that's coming up. It's our final. LSU 70, Villanova 63. We'll return to Thompson Bowling Arena right after you watch these messages.
Dale Brown with high fives for everyone, including the security guard. From there, we'll move to the Midwest region. Princeton is down now by 7. Ron Franklin, Bob Ortigal.
44-37. Arkansas now has pushed out a lead of 7 points after being behind by 11 in the first half. And the Razorbacks have got this one going in their rhythm in the last 8 minutes of basketball. About to have played the first 2 minutes of the second half. Lindsey Howell on the leaner. And this, the largest lead of the night by Arkansas.
This is where you get Princeton in trouble because they will stay in that 1-2-2 matchup zone.
Timeout called by Princeton. Arkansas on a 16-1 run right now. Timeout on the court with the score: Arkansas 46 at Princeton 37.